Don't get fooled. The sound of the final buzzer means it's hangover time. So grab a drink and join your host, Alphonse Sidney, for a Miami Heat Beat post-game show.
Heat lose. It was a shitty fucking game. It's a boring game. It was a tough watch. The Heat couldn't get anything going. They couldn't get to the rim. They couldn't get in the paint. And listen, as you're missing your three best scorers and your entire philosophy over the last 5-6 games is to hit as many threes as humanly possible, I expect that to happen because it's the NBA. Great teams shoot 30-40% from three. It's gonna be tough sledding if that is your entire philosophy and you're doing it without guys who can create for others. So you're basically just hoisting a bunch up there, hoping that your defense and you make enough shots to get through it, right? And yes, they were playing the Pistons. The Pistons are a bad team, but right now, without without Jimmy, Deadman, I'm sorry, Jimmy, Bam, Hero, Caleb, Keith. Now PJ goes out. Like, you're not a good team either. So two bad teams played tonight, and won. The other one didn't. I'm not gonna get upset about it. I am Alphonse Sidney, aka Alpha954. Welcome to the Miami Heat Beat post-game show, Hangover Time. If you are with us tonight watching live on Twitch, God bless you. God bless you for sitting through that excruciatingly bad game and then coming here to watch us talk about that excruciatingly bad game. And if you're watching on replay, holy shit, thank you. Like, you decided that you want to hear more about that terrible fucking game, and we love you guys. We're going to try to have some fun. It's a Sunday night. Probably going to keep this shit really fucking short if it's up to me. Right, Bon?
Yep.
So go ahead, bring me out, G. Oh, my God. Fez comes in with the bench bow. I see a fire Duncan in the chat.
I like the cross up there.
Heat Twitter has been apoplectic about this game tonight, and I'm so confused. Like, they just won 4 of their last 5. Like, they're doing it. Like, somebody was like, I expected more from Kyle. Why? Why did you expect more with the guys he had on the floor tonight?
Bro, he played like shit today. Like, I'm not gonna excuse that. I didn't even put the Kyle Lowry lifer today. But I mean, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put Kyle Lowry apologist, because that's what I'm about to do.
He played like shit. Duncan played like shit. Gabe played like shit. Strus had some good moments. But he missed a lot of open threes too. I mean, it's just
Schmieden and Smolnik said in the chat, I'm only here for G to sing the fight song. What I will sing is all I want for Christmas is true.
Oh, look at that!
I thought you were gonna get the mashup one. You got
that was 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So hold on, I'm gonna stand for chat. I'm a man of my word. We got the
look at that.
Extra tight for chat.
Yeah, like, why did you get your size?
Yeah, look, it's like, you know what I mean. I got it extra tight for you guys. Got the screws, so I did that. I did that for
a lot of pastiness happening.
Yeah, that was just, and I even wore it without a shirt for you guys. I actually tried to find my Heat Christmas hat.
What? Like, you live in South Florida. How are you that not tan? But anyway,
I agree with the comment.
Trade to
a tough. Oh no, not trade to.
Be careful.
Tough loss.
Careful now.
You wait till a tough loss to show the jersey.
Somebody said medium Smolnik in chat.
Well, that is a medium. Let's go ahead and find out what all 3 of us, are drinking tonight. Vane Hype says he's out here pasty too. I don't know what y'all, Latinos in South Florida doing. How y'all still pasty?
I have an excuse. I haven't been out of my house a lot. I mean, I used to play volleyball and go paddleboarding a ton, but I don't
want to hear the COVID thing because being outside is one of the best things you could fucking do during COVID.
Yeah, but like I do like group activities outside.
You don't have to do group activities.
Just go outside. Take
a
walk.
Yeah, that's true.
Or do your same activities with yourself.
No,
I mean phrasing.
No, I was just gonna leave it out there. Just let it go.
I'm having Tito's and Sprite or something like that, or
you don't even know.
It's like Kirkland vodka. It's left over.
You know that Kirkland vodka's the same distillery that produces Grey Goose.
Yeah, it's 6 times distilled. It's excellent.
Yeah.
Do not pay for Grey Goose. Get the Kirkland vodka. It's actually pretty good.
By the way, I Can Live Again. Just subscribe to Tier 1. The fact that somebody watched that shitty game, came in here and paid money. Thank you.
Someone said G looks like yeast.
I look like yeast.
G, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm doing. We're being festive. I'm having eggnog. A little eggnog, a little rum. I love eggnog.
Really? I don't. You like coquito or eggnog?
I like both. I'm gonna try to make coquito this year. This is the first. I actually bought the eggnog today, so I'm excited.
I fuck with some coquito, but I don't. Eggnog is.
You want coquito? I'll make you coquito.
We have cremas. Haitians have cremas. It's better than coquito.
Can you make one?
I'm gonna get canceled for that. I can't make that shit.
They both sound like they have dairy in it.
Yeah,
they do.
No, not for me. G is drinking a hot toddy.
Siobhan, what are you drinking tonight?
I am on some Fiji and
look at you.
Some body armor. We are hydrating for the week ahead. I'm not gonna let them stress me out. They all look tired. I'm not gonna wake up for my job tired tomorrow. So we're gonna get some Fiji and some body armor in there.
Okay, so let's go into it. G, do you have who kicked our ass or they kicked our ass?
Listen, that's one of my favorite imaging. I got it.
Let's go.
They kicked our ass.
Okay,
love that.
So I'm gonna go first. Pretty obvious. Sadiq Bey kicked our ass. What does Sadiq Bey shoot on the season from 3?
I had an argument with Nikias today because I said I was upset at the Max foul. I was just upset, and I said don't overreact to bad shooters. Nikias goes, he's not a bad shooter. Somebody from the top rope goes, he's shooting 30% from 3 this year.
30.5% from 3 this year.
Nikialytics. Shout out to Steve Jones.
Were y'all talking specifically shooting from 3, or were you just talking?
Yeah, I was shooting from 3. Yeah.
That
Well, no, it was on the Max foul in the corner that I tweeted that.
Max had 2 brain dead possessions in a row, and apparently other people were pointing out that he had more bad defensive possessions than that. But there was one where he cheated into the paint for no reason, left Sadiq Bey open, and of course Sadiq Bey is gonna hit a wide open 3. Like, he doesn't have to be a great shooter to hit a wide open shot. And then overreacts. No, first of all, he did the closeout right. Jumped to the side of the player to at least get the distraction and close out hard. But then for no reason at the end, sticks his hand across. I'm like, what are you doing?
You did the whole thing. You got the 98%.
Yeah. And that sequence just was in the fourth quarter.
If he hits that 3, you're just like, fuck, that sucks. But I mean, Max didn't have to do. He did everything right. He didn't have to do the extra.
Is that you said into the sideline, like into the players? Like, didn't he like fall over into our seats and stuff? I'm trying to remember the play. Yeah. Because
Max, he closed out correctly. Yeah. Like, he didn't body him, but then he reached across for no reason.
The foul was the reach at the end. It wasn't the closeout.
Yeah, everything else was fine. If he just Sadiq Bey was gonna miss that shot, but now you just gave him free throws. So Sadiq Bey kicked our ass. Go ahead, Bond. Who kicked our ass tonight?
I would have taken Sadiq, and so I'm gonna take the other guy, Amadou Diallo, as I kind of thought he might. Rangy enough, springy enough, athletic enough. And Reed just hammered it. Like, he just kept going about how, he's only going to beat you going downhill. Give him some space, bait him into the shot. You're just talking about overreacting to shooting, overreacting to like not shooting well. If he's not shooting, or you haven't, like, if he's killing you this one way the whole time, try the opposite thing. Never tried the opposite thing. So yeah, I'll say 15 and 7 on 7 of 10 shooting. That guy.
One of the things I noticed today was a day with Diallo where the tiny backcourt that we start hurt us.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
the best defensive possessions on Diallo actually came from Duncan because he's just big enough to bother Diallo a little bit. Diallo was just going off on Kyle and Gabe because he's just physical. He's going to get to the basket, flip that thing up in there, and it's he's probably shooting 70% within 3 feet of the basket. Like, it's going to be really hard for a small guy like that to stop him, much less when he gets that close to the basket, contest properly. And you couldn't take Duncan off of Sadiq Bey or some of these. I mean, they had bigger guys in the lineup. I felt like tonight the small backcourt really, really hurt them.
I think that just in general, the Pistons use their wing length, like especially once PJ went down and they didn't have a dude to like kind of offensive rebound for them. They put big dudes on Kyle, and Kyle's 35 years old, doesn't have the bounce every night. Was having not a good game, and they put some size on him. Totally fucked them over. Couldn't get by him. Couldn't do anything. Pistons were switching. He had no guys who could penetrate, and you're going to lose games that way, right? Like if he's and by the way, they look tired, and I know that they're not making excuses in that locker room, but eventually playing 10 guys catches up to you, right?
Kyle Lowry played 42 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
He's averaging over 39 minutes per game over like the last few weeks. Like, this is the 4th game in a row on the road. I don't want to we can analyze a game because that's what we do. It's a post-game show. We analyze a game that we just watched. And there were things that went wrong, things that went right. But overall, like, I have so many Heat fans in my mentions on Twitter, like, upset. Killing Duncan once again after he's been shooting over 40% for like last 6 to 8 games. Killing Kyle again after he's been playing 39 plus minutes per game, carrying this team with a bunch of undrafted guys to a winning record without Jimmy and Bam. Shitting on Spo for his rotations. Who are you going to play?
Yeah,
he's playing everyone that's available to him.
Yo, KZ and Giannis are the last 2 power forwards on the team.
So what you said is what G said. Like, our backcourt being so small and then being able to use their range and their length against us. And that was one of my kind of, areas of I don't know, I guess objection. Huh?
Oh, no.
Yeah, areas of concern. Yeah. Coming into the season, like I said, I appreciate Kyle and his game, but I know that he is small, and I know that other teams are rangy, have some springy type of people that, and kind of whatever action they want, they can isolate and switch and get people off of them. And so, you saw tonight, they went at it, as I'm surprised a lot of teams don't do more often, honestly. And yeah, I think you kind of saw what it was. But I do think that they were tired. And I don't understand as a Heat fan really, really being too upset about tonight. And I like to consider myself, I don't know. I think I'm fairly critical of them. But I'll take, a fish that's critical. But I'm not even really upset with tonight. I do think that they look tired. But for like all of the arguments that we've been able and like wanting to kind of have in the weeks prior, I don't think tonight was really one to give too much of that energy.
To me, Siobhan, what like people are blaming Spo. What's the
what else?
What's the counter? What's the counter when they're going at Gabe and Kyle?
That's it. Udonis. There's nothing else to sub in.
But that's the only guy he didn't play was Udonis. And yes, like Yurt was bad tonight. And honestly, I think Yurt's been bad for about a week now. I think Yurt's had like 1 or 2 good performances, and then
he got you 12 rebounds.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, he should have like 18. Yeah, because he kept he's just not grabbing rebounds. He's super slow. He gave up so many points in the paint. I don't know if Udonis is fixing that for you, because what you needed tonight, like to me, like the best thing they did was when they went a little bit small without Dedmon, because Dedmon being in foul trouble really, really hurt tonight. Losing PJ Tucker really, really hurt tonight, because you could have had some of those PJ KZ minutes to match it with a super athletic Detroit team, but you didn't have that. You didn't even have that option. And then Dedmon gets into foul trouble, so you're running out Yurt and KZ as your front court, and what happens? They eat you alive in the paint. Is anybody surprised?
No, and that's exactly what you said. We talked a couple episodes ago. You mentioned about how like KZ has looked better playing with PJ, and that would have been the time to go back to some of that. But like I said, PJ got hurt, and so there was literally nothing else for Spo to even like try if he wanted to try a different look. He had no people. There's no other combinations that could have been made.
And it's like, what's Kyle's people like when Kyle played? Like, who's Kyle going to turn to? Because you got to realize what has bailed them out. They played the same game.
Essentially, they've just been shooting lights out.
Yes. They hit 13 threes tonight. They've been hitting like 19 a game.
Yeah, 13 is much closer to the truth.
Yeah. And they've bailed themselves. Like you had Max Strus going nuclear in fourth quarters, Gabe Vincent going nuclear in fourth quarters. Like you've had some, I'm not going to call them outlier performances, but they're performances by guys who are, bench guys that you can't rely on that night in and night out.
Yeah.
And when they don't give it to you, and then Duncan was god awful.
Right, that's what I'm saying. People that we need to be giving it to us, and
the thing is, like, and Duncan's going. Like, honestly, Duncan's been playing well, but if he has a bad game, there's no margin for error. Yeah. Like, if Duncan's having a bad game and he goes 2 for 6 or 1 for 5, but when he's going 2 for 11, like, there's no margin for error for that. Like, you just don't have enough firepower with this current lineup. But overall, man, like. Heat fans, you should be so fucking proud of this team.
Yeah, let's zoom out just a little bit.
So I think that when you have games like this, like I think the fan base is going to be understandably upset. But let's everything that you said, and let's also keep it to perspective that it's still December, and these games don't like they're not indicative of who they are. And I understand, and I had people in the Heat Beat mentions are like, well, this guy should take over the game, right? And it shouldn't be Summer League Strus out there. And I understand how a fan could be upset. And we also have to understand that, like, is $30 million for a 35-year-old an overpay that can't, be a takeover player? Probably. But when you're trying to win a championship, you oftentimes have to overpay for those guys. You either overpay for them in a trade, right? Or you overpay for them in free agency, and that's why they're available, right? Because they're going to have all the leverage. So did he probably – I mean, I don't think that he overpay for Duncan. I think $15 million for this year is pretty fair, but I know that the contract goes up to 18 next. So is that probably a lot for him? Yeah. Is that a lot for Kyle? Yeah. But when you try to win a title, you overpay, especially when you're a team like Miami that players want to come here and you got to, like, kind of work everything out and everything. So let's take a step back. Like you all said, when they get healthy – they're going to look better. When they were healthy, they were good. They play up to the level of the competition. And I understand, listen, you lose to Detroit, who has lost 14 straight. Bro, I don't want to watch that shit either.
It's not just losing to Detroit.
No, they play like garbage. They look bad.
Right, they play like garbage. Stretches where they have looked like garbage against bad teams. Like you said, they play up to the competition often enough. But they do tend to, like, play down, just to use, the same type of language. Like, it was not looking good tonight, not looking good against Detroit and like some other games prior. But I do agree with my initial point, just that like we really shouldn't be too upset.
They missed 10 free throws today. And say what you want, like they're a good free throw shooting team. So they're like one of the best free throw shooting teams in the league. That shit happens. And that's, I think, and Siobhan, you are like an athlete, so you could probably correct me wrong. I imagine a lot of that's tired legs. You're on a road trip, you've all played a lot of minutes. It's cold. Yeah,
it's tired everything. Dudes were getting blown by. Like Max had a lot of bad defensive possessions. Gabe was getting attacked as soon as he was closing out incorrectly.
And Gabe is not the guy. He's not a guy that we should be worried about getting attacked. Like Gabe is one of our best defenders.
Gabe's one of the ones we trust.
Yeah, Gabe and Kyle were getting their asses kicked tonight, and those are our guys.
Duncan literally got spun around.
Deadman was in foul trouble.
I don't know if
Deadman was in foul trouble.
That's another thing that doesn't happen.
Your starting front court was in foul trouble, and one of them got injured and was out for the game.
Yeah, tonight really.
So good game, Mariah. Great viewers.
They were
Thank
plus
you always
5.
for tuning in.
They were plus 5 with Deadman on the floor and -1 with PJ. So in reality, their starting front court was essentially winning the game, and when their starting front court was either Yeah.
I appreciate Good Game Mariah. Great viewer. You're always tuning in. Thank you very much. But what I will say is like don't look at like, I can't believe they lost to the Pistons. Like they are literally not better than the Pistons right now as currently constituted.
And that's a lot of lottery
not.
talent. Like those dudes, we can say that team sucks. Those are
they
lottery
have
talented players. You know what I mean? Like Kate Cunningham's a good
Kate Cunningham, Hayes, like they have all these like lottery picks.
is going to be incredible.
I mean, he's a good player.
And then another thing is like we want to get mad at them for losing the game to the Pistons, but they also beat the Bucks. They beat the Bulls.
They beat a healthy Bucks team.
They beat the healthy Bucks. I
think they're only lost when the three of them play.
They beat a lot of really good teams during the stretch as well. So you gotta take the good with you gotta take the good with the bad. But on a lighter note, G, let's get to our gaga of the gaga game.
Oh, there was one.
Okay, so there weren't a lot of highlights tonight, but this was a good one. Just a beautiful pick and roll. We want to do either Gaga or Devin's Garage, so whatever. This could be both. Go ahead, run that back, G.
I had the music for it. I'm trying to find it. Brad said
Strus is starting to use his gravity to his advantage, and one of the things that I'm starting and I think it's happening more and more because you don't have Jimmy, you don't have Bam, you don't have Hero. Like guys like Strus and Duncan are finding other ways to use the respect they're getting from defenders. And that was just, and Strus has always been one to try to attack the basket, but that you see it getting a little bit easier for him because guys are really worried about his three-point shooting. Duncan had a couple really nice assists to Max tonight, even despite the bad shooting. So you're starting to see more and more of Duncan taking guys off the dribble. Strus, as he continues to shoot over 40% from three, he's going to continue to have guys overplay him and go over screens just like they did with right there with Dedmon. And if he can get downhill and him and Dedmon or him and any of the other bigs can get some kind of rapport, you're going to see a lot more of this. I just don't want them to stop doing it when they get Bam and Jimmy back.
Yeah,
there you go, G.
And that's the thing. That's the fear that they stop doing it when the other guys come back. But no, you're right, and that's what Duncan has been doing for a little while now. Like going to the little floater, little mid-range area, trying to do some dump off passes and stuff in the lane. He tried one tonight that just got kind of coughed up. So yeah, you're right, and that's what I've been wanting them to do. Use the way in which people respond to you in ways that you typically don't. And that's what Duncan does a lot with the back cuts. Gabe reads the back cut opportunities really, really well. I'm sorry, I meant Max. Reads the back cuts really well too. So you're right. And they just have to keep doing it for however long these guys are still out and when they come back.
I'd like to see them continue to get minutes together. We were going to do an eye test tonight, and apparently everything I texted G was wrong, so we didn't do it.
It was actually. I'm sorry, Alf. I couldn't download the screen cap sometime. I was it was like Alf's like, man, Eric Reed said that Max and Duncan haven't played together. I feel like they're pretty good together.
I was right about the fact they have played together.
They have played 64 minutes. Yeah, minus 23 net rating, 98 offensive rating. Yeah. Alf then goes, what are the Gabe Lowry numbers? I don't love this combo. And I'm like,
I don't like the size.
244 minutes plus 6 net rating.
What's wrong with
like, I test trash. I'm like 0 for 2. He goes, how about Lowry, Gabe, and Duncan? I'm like, Duncan makes that trio plus 20 net in 96 minutes. I was like, I don't know.
Maybe not plus 20. Plus 20 sounds a lot. I would have said plus 15. But I believe it. The Kyle and Gabe make the half of them make one respectable 3-point shooter, and then you have Duncan who is one. So they create a little pockets of space for each other. But
I feel like they've had such bad starts, which was my next eye test. And then what happened when you looked up the starting lineup?
Yeah, the starting lineup. So PJ Duncan, PJ Duncan, Kyle Dedmon. PJ is plus 27. Alf goes, "Fuck you," and then the conversation ended.
Yeah,
That was
like a
it.
personal attack at that point.
Yeah. I'm like, you do it up. I felt like he started making the shit up.
And and it's funny because I only knew that because Nikias had tweeted that out earlier. And I had seen that Jersey G God is as stressed as a single mother on minimum wage. Dog, I feel like I'm gonna explode. And this isn't. We all know I put on a little weight since COVID. You know, I'm a little shy. This is, you know, I got a thin-spiration jersey. You know, hopefully I can fit into it by playoffs.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Well, I like the thin spirit. I like that's nice.
Thank
That
you.
is nice.
And I clown you, but I wouldn't like listen because of COVID. You wouldn't see me out here with my chest out and my shoulders out, because I've been eating good during COVID.
Oh man, I mean, I just downed that eggnog like nothing. That's probably 1 billion calories. Oozing Heat Culture 212 is gifting a tier 1 sub. We appreciate that. And Vane Hype earlier gifted a tier 1 sub to Sadiq Bey. So
fuck Sadiq Bey. Take that shit back, Vane Hype.
Yeah, Post Up 75 Gaga gifted a tier 1 sub. So Post Up is one of our.
Sadiq ever comes available.
Perfect front court partner next to Bam. Could be
saying it for years.
Could be.
Should just look
absolutely been saying it
for the Heat to still be in 5th place, almost in a tie for 4th, after all this shit. I'm not mad, man.
Well, all right. What are these next games? Because these next games will also dictate for me. Pacers, Pistons, Magic, Wizards.
We play the Pistons again?
Yeah.
Oh,
and the Magic.
I'm at least glad that Garza guy didn't kill us. I mean, that fucking Garza guy scares me.
But he had a splash where it looked like he could have, and they stopped going to him.
They got lucky.
Getting a little groove.
I knew it was over when Isaiah, what's his name? What's the one who almost got in a fight? Stewart. When he hit a 3, I said, this shit's a wrap. I said, it's done.
Yeah, Pacers.
I knew that shit was coming.
Pacers, Pistons, Magic, Wizards.
So I mean, they have an opportunity to get. I mean, as long as they get to 500, or if they can get a little bit above 500, that's just a treat.
I mean, they're 4 games above 500 now.
No, I mean like in the stretch without.
In the stretch, yeah. I mean, where are they now without Bam and Jimmy? I feel like they're like.
I think they're at 500 right now in that period.
I'm happy.
Yeah. So and also, I mean, I believe that they were 3rd place coming into tonight. Because they were tied with Milwaukee.
And they're down.
They were 4th place. They were 4th place because they were tied with Milwaukee, and they had the tiebreaker because they're up 2-1 in the season series.
Place.
So, bro, you're 4th place in the East without, you know, when Jimmy and Bam have missed almost 12 and 13 games respectively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I'm not.
They could have looked worse in this loss tonight, and for that, I'm grateful because it could have looked worse.
I guess the scary part going forward is, does like Udonis have to play? Like,
listen, the one there's a lot of guys who are bad, but there's one guy who's just been awful for the most part. Yurt stinks. I'm sorry. I know he had 12 rebounds, but that motherfucker, he can't move. And like sometimes I'm like, he looks confused on the basketball court. Like you can't be that motherfucking big and just be lost all the time.
But it's probably why he does feel lost and not moving well. He's too big. He probably had a late growth spurt too. He looks like
he looks good coming into the arena. That's about it.
Fair. It's uncomfortable watching him move.
That is the perfect way to put it. I'm like watching, and then when he makes it, I'm more surprised when he makes a little turnaround jump up.
Same, honestly.
Than when he misses.
Bro, between he and KZ, that's like the clumsiest front court in the league.
But even KZ is trying to get it together.
Some of those plays today, I like literally put my hand, and I'm like, man, I can't. Like Spo has to like, you know, remember that GIF of Spo like convulsing?
Yeah,
that's how I feel when I watch Sadiq Bey, when I watch KZ Okpala.
Oh yeah.
KZ, not KZ, I'm sorry. Yurt. Sorry ass. There was so many plays tonight where he was just half a second faster. You know, or like first of all, you're 7 feet tall. Yep. Why are you volleyballing the ball?
Use the whole arm, like get that whole bitch up there.
Just grab the goddamn ball. And I've never seen so many tiny guys jump at a 7-footer of his size and still make it. Like,
Yeah.
and he does use verticality. I will say that he does not foul.
He goes, yep.
He does go straight up, but they just throw that shit up over him. But listen,
Dave gave him a good high low. He made it. He tried to give it to him again, fucked it up. I think someone else tried to throw something to him, and it just got like it looked like that.
But I will say what's happening right now is you're getting a good look at a lot of these end of bench guys.
Yeah.
And when you get the whole group back, like somebody was like, "What's their rotation going to be?" I'm like, "I guarantee it ain't gonna be no Yurt or KZ." Like I like KZ. I think he's done some good things, but you have your whole group back. KZ ain't playing. Yurt ain't playing. The ones you start worrying about is like, you think KZ's going to play when they have the whole rotation back?
So I'm not saying that he will, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. In a similar way of him using like a PJ and KZ, I can see like maybe a Markieff and KZ.
But why when you have Dedmon as a backup?
Because maybe Dedmon needs some rest.
I'm saying when you have your full complement of players available.
Right. Just because they're available, 10-man rotation. You can still be wanting to like, we can't.
I get what Siobhan's saying. Siobhan's saying like maybe if they want like a wing at the 4, right, with Keith, if they want to downsize a little bit.
But then you could go Caleb if you wanted before you.
That's what I'm saying. There's other options, but you got to get like you got all your guys available. Like to me, it's the question is going to be Strus, Caleb, Gabe is where you're going to worry about what. So and none of those guys deserve their minutes getting cut. But that's where the question starts to come in. Like
we talked about that in pregame, and both Frankie and Jack said Max has like the most secure spot out of those guys. And I was like, I don't think so. I thought Caleb too, and they're like, no.
Caleb, Max, Gabe is what
I went. I went Caleb, Gabe, Max.
Gabe's defense is.
I know.
I mean, Oladipo is going to take some guard minutes, of course, but I was like saying, at what point does that not become such a sure thing? And they're like, well, Max is going to get his minutes in a playoff rotation. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah. And I had talked to Leif and Alex.
But I don't know if I would put them. Maybe I'm not trying to order them. I think
Caleb is the best of that group. And
I don't even know if he's the best. I just feel like
he's the one that they need the most.
Yes. I think the athleticism and just what he brings to the table, the energy.
He's a wing. They don't have a lot of those.
Yeah.
Like Gabe, they have a lot of guards. And I think it would suck if Gabe kind of lost some of his minutes, but they just have an excess when Oladipo's healthy. I
think what is good, though, is that you have like, at least you know that you have a reliable, backup at each of those positions. If I'm going to call KZ reliable.
And we didn't think they're coming in.
Right. So like you said, we've gotten like really good look at people.
You're 3 deep at some positions.
Right. At least you're definitely a solid 2.
They're all NBA players, which is what I think is great to see. Like they're all productive NBA players.
Except for Yurt. Motherfucker's not an NBA player.
Yeah, he's not ready yet. Project.
Honestly, I like
12 rebounds.
Marcus Garrett ain't gonna be playing no big, but I kind of like what he brings to the table.
He's a Heat guy.
He is, and honestly, the whole point guard thing probably needs to go away. He can't dribble. I mean, he can't create for others in an NBA game. Like against real NBA players, that's not his forte. Like he needs to be doing more of that Caleb shit. He's not the offensive player Caleb is, but just being the athletic guy, just guarding, 3 or 4 positions. Guy. Yeah. He shouldn't be bringing the ball up. He shouldn't be trying to create for others. It's just not who he is. But let's get to something to actually educate the audience. Let's get to Bond's breakdown.
Oh, hold on. Let me break it down so it can forever and consistently be broke.
Bond, I'm convinced Brax is making those shorts longer every.
He might every 2 episodes they get bigger.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a talk. Couple defense, couple offense. Nothing too specific. What is this one? Okay, so here's some defense. So you gotta switch up top. Pause. Can Duncan, you started over. What I like a lot here is PJ and how he uses his body. Go ahead. 3 on this side, 1 in the corner. Pops out for the pass. Pause. So PJ goes high side on this dude to at least take away that screen on the baseline. He feels like he's better able to, contend, run around, the top than to let him get that baseline pick. And I think it's probably right. Go ahead. Spins off of him so he doesn't have to stop this motion. And then they poor recovery on the back side there. There was some other stuff happening on the wing, but I just was really watching PJ in this position. We go to the next one. Did you turn the music off?
Huh? You want it off?
No, not off.
Too loud.
Oh, I'm not brass. I'm sorry.
You're fine. Start this over, please. Duncan did something really well, and then he left. Pause. So they end up committing 2 to the ball handler. Bring it back and then pause it right after he comes off of the screen. Go ahead. So you have 2 to the ball handler. Duncan sees Isaiah rolling here. I think he's the better of those 3 to help off. Those other 2 have people more near them. Go ahead. He picks him up. And then just leaves.
Yeah, what is he doing?
Who was he guarding?
Who did you think you were guarding, right? Because you know that you came off your dude in the corner. You assumed he popped up there. He didn't. But I like the first part.
Was he looking for?
Did he think the ref was a player and he was trying to cut off the passing angle?
I don't know. I think he just expected one of them 2 in the short corner or in the
only thing I can think is he looking for 41 to come around that screen or come around on. But you can't. I mean. You can't
I'm thinking
react
he's looking
to that.
for 6 to come up. I don't know what he's looking at, but it
doesn't make no goddamn sense.
Yeah, no.
Because if he's looking for 6,
anticipating 6.
No.
So yeah, they did well, and then I don't know what happened after that.
Is it better now?
The next one. No, it's fine. Yeah. Some offensive things. Okay, so Kyle's gonna get. All right. So pause. So. It's going to look like they're about to set screens and all go in this kind of Xing motion, but they actually don't. Go ahead. Duncan ends up setting, I think, this back screen for Gabe while it looks like KZ was going to keep going to the corner. Pause. Duncan flew up after he set the back screen for Gabe. You can do it one more time. They brought a lot of different patterns and motions all to the same mesh point, and it confused the shit out of Detroit. But they recovered well out of it. Just zoom out and watch everyone do something different at the same time.
Even KZ.
So now at that point, when Duncan caught it, had Gabe flew out to his corner, had KZ popped out, that would have taken their people with them, and then I think Isaiah or Yurt would have had that kind of dive. And then last thing, what the hell was this?
That's what Spo was saying.
Oh, okay. One more time. I'm sorry. So this is why I think they need to run the play all the way through. Duncan is set up like he's going to come across this baseline screen from Max. He fakes back out or goes back out, or he's setting the screen. Sorry, he goes back out, and then that stops kind of what's happening. You get this little haphazard, exchange over there, some stuff that looks like it's actually happening on the right, but it's not, because the play is already decided it's going to be on the left side. So you just have Duncan trying to get open, going back and forth. Run the initial play all the way through, get motion, dynamic action happening on both sides. They were setting up for a stagger and some other shit, but Duncan cut the whole thing off, and then we got a bad look out of it.
Do you think it's because Max was standing right there in the other corner?
I think Max was supposed to be the one to come off of the screen, and that Duncan was going to come off of this stagger that they look like they're trying to set up.
Yeah, I thought it looks, as from a layman's perspective, it looks like Max was supposed to vacate that corner.
It looks to me that he was supposed to come off of Duncan's screen, but then he never got a chance to. He should have been moving more because he wasn't at all. But then Duncan
I feel like Max and Duncan together, kind of. But I think Max didn't know what to do when Duncan bailed on the play. And it just started. It looked ugly after that. Like Max is like, look, Max even. You see his hand. He's like, wait, what the fuck? Max even put his hand up, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
He should have went with it. Maybe they would have got something. But that's it. That's all I had.
And you watch some of those plays, and you look at these guys missing. I mean, they were making a lot of those shots the last few games. So a lot of I don't think they were doing anything different. Like for the people saying, I think what happened different tonight was Dedmon was in foul trouble and PJ got hurt and they missed a bunch of shots. And you're not beating nobody when all those factors come into play.
If Colin Duncan and Gabe are just not going to shoot well, and you don't have Tyler, Bam, or Jimmy, it's like the fact that it was even a winnable game at one point. I mean, it just goes to show how bad Detroit is. How tired and Miami is. And listen, it's not excuses, but it's. I just love
the tweets I get. This one's on Spo. What are we doing? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, do you guys not see the injury? The injury report is one of the best fucking lineups in the NBA. Like, dead ass.
That shit made the finals.
Like, when you see that shit come across your screen, I'm like, yo, that team is dope. I wish we had them motherfuckers.
That's like 60 points. Just gone.
60 points, 20 free throws.
That's just 2 parts of an all-defense team.
Yeah.
Bro, like, okay, you give me a starting lineup of Depot, Jimmy, Bam, Keith, and fuck Caleb. I'm taking it.
That's 50 wins.
I was going to say 50, but I don't know if that was too much. It's at least 45.
You got these motherfucking Heat fans watching Kyle play, 36-year-old ass, playing over 40 minutes a game, out here with Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, fucking KZ Okpala, and Yurt, mad at Kyle Lowry and Spo. Why can't you win this game? Shut the fuck up. Like, what are you mad about? Like, what are we getting upset about? Like, the fact that they are 500 with this current unit, and then PJ goes out. Oh, Spo fucked this shit up. Who was he supposed to play? The motherfucking ball boy? Was he supposed to call Jawan Howard out the fucking stand?
I was about to say.
Like, what are y'all doing? God damn, stop being so fucking stupid. Gee, just be happy about the wins. We could be disappointed in the losses. Like tonight, Flame Duncan. Like, he was bad. But don't be like, Duncan does this every time. He didn't do this every time the last 6 games. Like, you guys are weird with this shit. Like, I knew this about Duncan. What are you doing? Oh, Spo's always fucking up the rotation. What are we doing?
With what to rotate? Where is the rotation?
You out here with a wooden block talking about rotate. He don't got a wheel. Rotate? Rotate what?
UD ready.
Oh, my God.
UD was ready.
Was he? To do what?